Man, oh man, has a lot of things happened since the Elantra N came out. We got the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, which famously used fake exhaust sounds through speakers to simulate a gasoline sports car in an EV.
Sounds incredible! It's 100% EV. No way. It's 100%.
And I think overall they have very much succeeded with that. I believe the main source of that engine sound was the Elantra N. The Elantra N, I think, was a huge step for Hyundai to be taken seriously. It got rave reviews. People seemed to really, really enjoy it and really like it. It very much was in the face of its competitors. Even on their website, they said, hey, here's the people competing against us. Here are the cars competing against us. Here's everything you need to know. And that's pretty bold to go on their website and be like, yeah, here's the competition and here's us. Here's the value you get for the money, which is the important part. This video is brought to you by HP Tuners. Here's the deal. HP Tuners is an incredibly user-friendly data logging software and tuning software that I've been using for years. I use it on my Coyote Swap 240SX and my 2013 Mustang GT Smurf. And HP Tuners makes things incredibly easy, using the most sophisticated OBD interface out there, the MPVI-3. You plug in the MPVI-3, you plug in your laptop, and you're good to go. And HP Tuners literally saved my Coyote Swap 240SX. Without the data that I gathered using HP Tuners, I would have had a very, very bad day and probably lost my motor. And of course, you can use HP Tuners to tweak your tune to perfection. Whenever I need a data log or just check in on things in general, HP Tuners has me covered. I personally use HP Tuners on my Ford products, but they have a whole list of brands that are compatible with their software and tools. So huge thanks to HP Tuners for sponsoring today's video, and go show them some love and let them know that I sent you. With the link in the description below, you can check out HP Tuners for yourself. Thank you guys so much. The Elantra N provides a budget solution to a front-wheel drive, turbocharged, fun car to drive. It is dramatic, right? When you get on the gas, when you get off the gas, you get turbo sounds, you get exhaust sounds, you get a pretty healthy exhaust note. It's not too raspy like a 4-cylinder beehive engine. It has a nice deep rumble to it. I don't mind it. Because man, oh man, you can make a 4-cylinder sound bad real quick. Brakes. Here's that factory burble tune I was telling you about. No, sir, that is factory. The car also has an electronic limited slip differential, so you don't have to worry about one wheel peeling your way to victory. I think it was pretty bold for Hyundai to have a brand literally named after the Nürburgring. The N is Nürburgring. But Hyundai also has an amazing racing pedigree in the TCR class. Hyundai has won that class several times. Now, this is the 2-liter turbocharged engine by Hyundai that makes 276 horsepower and 289 foot-pounds of torque. So, no slouch, nothing to sleep at. We also have the variable exhaust, which famously got pulled over one time by a police officer and claimed the person had an aftermarket exhaust system on it, which he was absolutely wrong. The exhaust system is variable. You have a quiet mode and you have the N mode, which opens up the exhaust valves. The N mode also controls the steering. And what's cool is there is an N custom mode as well, which you can manually select your suspension, your steering, your exhaust. So it's very customizable, which is very neat. But going back to the Ioniq 5N, that being kind of the step up from this and it being an EV, kind of an interesting hierarchy in the Hyundai lineup right now. One thing I do really appreciate about the modern Hyundai N cars is I don't really believe their interiors miss. I think for the value, the interiors are very nice. This car starts at $34,000, which, 10 years ago, you'd be like, but in today's money, today's economy, I think it's actually pretty fair. The materials are pretty nice. The steering wheel feels good. The infotainment is very easy to use. It's very similar to, say, the Ioniq 5N. The digital dash works nicely. I'm not a huge fan of what the gauges look like in more of the eco or normal mode. I think they look a little bit too much like the Genesis brand, if that makes sense. But when you get to the N mode and the sport mode, this fireball comes into animation and it's really cool. I like it. I like how the dash swoops in around the driver. I like that a lot. And the seats, they're these bucket seats that aren't too much. They feel pretty good. And they got the little N that illuminates behind you. Pretty cool. But I drove the Elantra N right around the time it came out, the very first time. And I was overall pretty impressed, but I had a hard time saying, well, what about, say, the new WRX, or what about the new Civic Type R? Well, to be very bluntly out the gate, I think the Elantra N is a very good car. But I think the only thing that would really stop me 100% from choosing the Elantra N, say, over the WRX, which, I'll be frank, I'm not crazy about the new WRX. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's amazing either. I think the Hyundai does almost everything better, but I would like the confidence of the all-wheel drive in the WRX in this car. The Elantra N is front-wheel drive still, which its other rivals are as well, right? You got the Civic Type R and the Golf R. Now, the Elantra N, I do also think, is a step up from the Veloster N, and I thought the Veloster N was a really fun car, but this is definitely a step up in every way. Interior, driving capability, all that good stuff. I've had the car roughly 5 days, and as a daily driver, it does it very well. In-grim shift. Couldn't do that 20 years ago on a Hyundai. Looks-wise, okay, a little bit divisive. I think the front of the car looks pretty good. The back of the car is this crazy geometric kind of shape where it kind of comes in and then makes this V shape with the trunk and everything. I've grown to like it, but I see why a lot of people are kind of like, little too boxy for me in a curvy car age, right? You also have a button here on the steering wheel that is the in-grin shift, which is basically some added boost for a temporary time under acceleration, so you get a little more juice. Great braking as well, and you have Michelin PS4S tires, which are obviously pretty phenomenal. The PS4S is a fantastic tire to kind of compromise between wet weather and also summer tire-ish performance. It's a very great tire. I am always stoked to drive a car on PS4Ss. I think this car is a testament, though, to Hyundai listening to their consumers. Every single car that they build gets better, and I cannot emphasize enough, if you're in the generation under me, or maybe 2 generations under me, I'm 34 by the way for context, Hyundai was basically the laughingstock of the car industry. They were super cheap cars that you would buy and they would fall apart and they weren't that great. The fact that they just keep getting better and better and better is really fascinating over the past, say, 10 years. And the same could be said for the Kia brand as well, right? Those cars get better and better. The transmission is very fast. I'm very impressed with it. I would have loved to get, that is a Boss 302 Laguna Seca that just went by. Pretty cool. You don't see those anymore. Oh yeah, Hyundai. We're here to talk about Hyundai. Sorry. And unlike a lot of car companies nowadays where sometimes you don't feel like you're getting the value per dollar, a lot of times with Hyundai, I do believe you're getting the value per dollar. Look, there's Alcantara on the door cards here. Like, that would be a $50,000 or $60,000 car, 5-10 years ago. And there are some plastics, right, in the interior, but they're disguised very well. Like, when you look at the interior, it doesn't immediately look cheap. And look, there's lots of car companies out there today that I feel like when I get in the car and I look around and then I see the price tag, I don't really feel like it justifies the price. I have to say that with the Hyundai Elantra N, I feel like the interior to price is spot on. I think they nailed it. Now, when I first drove this car, I thought it was actually really great. but the more time I spent with it, the more I understand why people raved about it. Going back on the modes I was talking about earlier, I think it's really fantastic that a lot of car companies are doing these custom modes as well, where you can go in and change things individually. Very much like you're playing a video game and you tuning the car yourself with sliders. And that's kind of how it is in here as well, where you go in, you go, I want firmer suspension, but a softer steering setup. I think that's really great. I think that's great that it's catered to the customer and what they want. I think there's a big disconnect in today's performance cars a lot of the times by having electric steering and just not really feeling it. Of course, it is electric steering, but it's definitely not on that end where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can feel nothing. This is so annoying. It's also definitely one of those cars where people come up to it and go, what is that thing? Because of its very interesting shape, because of the kind of weird back, right? And I think this is a testament to me being excited of what Hyundai does next, right? The Envision 74. It just seems like they're having a lot more fun than a lot of other car companies right now. They're like, oh, people are responding to our feedback and we're giving them what they want. And I think that's very important for a car company to do at a reasonable price. Like, they're not asking 60 for this thing, you know what I mean? Like, that is just so common now and it's so sad. All right, Hyundai Elantra N. Is it a good value? Is it really great as a competitor to the other cars? I think so. I think for the value it is, I still think it's a really great car to daily enjoy, have a good time in. Is it going to rock your world with straight line acceleration? No, but the fun factor is definitely there.